Hello and welcome back to Quartzlight, your car brochure channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Peugeot 305. Welcome back, and of course if you are into car brochures, please do subscribe, as this is what this channel is all about. So back to the topic of the day, the Peugeot 305. Launched in November 1977, it ran all the way to 1989 with a facelift around about 1982. Initially just launched as a four-door saloon. It came in two engine choices at the time and three trim levels, and we'll certainly look at those in the brochure. The interesting thing about the 305, it was unusual size. It was launched at a similar sort of time as the Renault 18. It was kind of like a similar sort of size to that, but when you looked at other vehicles, it kind of like fitted in between the segment C and the segment D. So it could compete against cars such as the Volkswagen Golf, but also larger cars like the Ford Cortina. It was a front-wheel drive car, therefore there was actually more interior room in a Peugeot 305 than a Ford Cortina. But grab your drink. Today I've got a nice cup of tea and we'll have a look at this brochure and see those different trim levels and those engine choices. So this brochure we're looking at today, like I said, it's from the UK and it's dated 1979. The interesting thing about 1979 for the 305 in the UK is that the magazine What Car actually gave it the Car of the Year title, so it was certainly a well regarded car at the time, and some magazines and some journalists actually dubbed it the Cortina Eater because, like I say, it was a smaller car, but more room inside than a Cortina and a much more typically Peugeot, very well handled car. The back of this particular brochure is showing the rear of it, the SR, which was the top of the range at this particular time, and a nice dealer stamp, Central Motors, South Street, St Andrews. But anyway, let's have a look inside the brochure itself. So as we open the brochure up, first of all, it tells you about the three different versions. So we've got the GL, the GR and the SR, and they come in two different engine choices, which we'll also have a look at. So as it says at the start there, the first one is the GL. In Ford terms, of course, the GL would have been a higher spec vehicle, but in this case, it was your base model. A very understated, conservative with a small c car, really, Peugeot's. I always thought, compared to the other big French cars like Renaults and even Citroëns to a greater extent, I guess, they weren't really that sort of wacky sort of cars. They were much more low-key. But these were styled by Pininfarina, and I think they're a very attractive, handsome car. Similar to later cars from Peugeot, like the Peugeot 405, which again was on paper at least, a very conservative looking car, but still a very beautiful automobile. So let's have a quick look at the text here and we'll see a little bit about the Peugeot 305 GR. Straight away you notice that there's no rev counter on there and quite a plain interior, but let's see what it's got to say for itself. So it's saying here the 305 GL is modern and elegant, as it is economical, practical and attractively priced. The compact, pleasantly balanced lines of the 305 are the result of considerable aerodynamic research, and the drag coefficient is one of the lowest for a 3-box section car. The 305 GL combines sophisticated styling with the most modern engineering features. Technically, the 305 has been designed for comfort, safety and reliability. The GL's 1290cc power unit produces 65 brake horsepower at 6,000 revs. Yeah, this is the first of the two engine choices at this time. The 1290cc, that was seen on the two lower specs, so the GL and the GR. The SR had a larger engine, 1472, but we'll have a look at that later in the brochure. The overhead camshaft enables smooth progressive acceleration. The engine block and cylinder head are of a die-cast aluminium, which makes for high efficiency, both in terms of heat loss and economy, aided also by the aerodynamic body shape. And it continues to tell a little bit more information about the car, and it ends saying the 305 GL is practical but extremely well equipped. Carpets throughout, cloth upholstery, heated rear screen, reclining seats and many more items are standard. All in all, the 305 GL represents remarkable value for money. We then turn the page and get to the GR, your mid-range model, in a very attractive metallic green, one of those very popular colours, very late 70s, early 80s. Colours were starting to become a bit more striking from the sort of browns of the mid and early 70s. So, as we see on this car, it is showing a steel sunroof. Still just got plain steel wheels, but hey, let's have a look at some of the text and see what I can learn about the GR model. So as we said, the 305 GR shares the same 1290cc engine and mechanical components as the GL, but offers additional refinements to the interior trim. Attention to detail is shown on the 305's newly designed steering wheel and attractively laid out dashboard. The results of much detailed ergonomics study. The self-illuminating push buttons operate the heated rear window and hazard warning lights. The controls for the 2-speed wipers, the electronically operated windscreen washers and indicators are all within easy reach of the driver. The new heating and ventilation system has a 3-speed blower and the illuminated controls are faced with easy to understand symbols. Below the dashboard, a neat radio console is already fitted with a cable for a roof mounted aerial and to enable you to enjoy those warm spring and summer days to the full with a steel sunroof, which is available as an optional extra. So yeah, that was available, but it was an optional extra. And like many cars of the time, it was fitted, ready to fit a radio, but it didn't actually come with a radio as standard. And then when we turn the page, it shows that GR's interior. I particularly love these seats. They do look typically French, as in they look extremely comfortable. A very nice dashboard with 305 written on the dash there. Again, not coming with a rev counter, but a very nice looking dashboard for sure, with such features as these little pockets at the back, and of course, still wind down windows, but a very elegant looking car nevertheless. Let's just have a quick look at the text before we look at the top of the range model. So we look at the text for the GR, let's just have a quick look at that. It just says the 305 seats are the results of years of research into the wide variety of people's shapes, sizes and the safest and most comfortable way of accommodating these, etc, etc. It then tells a little bit about the rear bench seats, which is wide enough for 3 adults, and then goes on to say there's a great deal of storage space in the 305 GR. A lockable glove box, a parcel shelf under the dash, and a wide flat area to the left of the instrument panel for keeping odds and ends. The 305 is also equipped with fully adjustable lateral fresh air vents for added driver and passenger comfort, and a clock to help you keep your time, to keep you on time for those important appointments. Yes, this is a day when having a clock in there was quite a big thing. We again get to the centre pages. This is showing your car you aspired to have, your all-important SR, the top of the range model at the time, and you can notice this by this very long rubbing strip going all the way from front to back. And as we turn the page, and incidentally, I always kind of like to think these little door handles remind me a bit of a Morris Marina, but never mind. As we turn the page of the SR, we get this nice shot of the interior. We do now finally have a rev counter on this one. It has got a larger engine in there. A very attractive colour, again, one of those colours moving on to early 80s which became very popular, this metallic blue. So let's have a quick look what it's going to tell us about the SR model. So the principal difference between the SR and its GL and GR stablemates is the engine. The newly developed 1472cc unit is not only powerful but extremely economical, developing 74 brake horsepower at 6,000 RPM and gives a maximum speed of 96 miles per hour. The SR still returns 45.5 miles per gallon at a constant 56. Several additional refinements distinguish the SR from the other models in the range. The front seats are equipped with integral head restraints. Dashboard equipment includes a rev counter and special wheels, and black side protection strips gives the new Peugeot the sporty appearance it deserves. The SR is a beautiful car to look at and a tremendous one to drive. The excellent driving position and layout of instruments make long journeys less fatiguing. The circular dials for the speedometer and rev counter are faced with anti-dazzle glass and are positioned so that they are visible to the driver at all times. A restful orange illumination makes them easy to read at night without distraction. For front seat passengers in the SR, extra relaxation is afforded by the fold-down centre armrests. For those looking for even more by the way of equipment, the Peugeot offers an option on the SR, a special luxury pack, consistent of steel sunroof, tinted glass all round, laminated windscreen, electronically operated front windows and map reading light. Nippy and economical around town, but a great motorway cruiser, the 305 SR brings back the true pleasure of motoring. And a little bit of a blurb at the bottom there, but we'll see all the specification figures at the back of the brochure. It then goes on to show the interior, similar really to the GR, this time in blue, but does look an extremely pleasant and comfortable place to be. Not a fan of leather, so I always like these sort of French seats, extremely comfortable for sure. And as we turn the page, it gives a little bit of a bit of information about how economical it is to run with some figures. So we'll just have a quick look at this chart. So it's showing here the GL and the GR is managing to get 43.4 miles per gallon on a constant 56. The SR is getting 45.5. At 70, the GL and GR is getting 31 miles per gallon. The SR is getting 33.6. And finally, the combined figure is 29.7 on the GL or GR and 31.7 on the SR. The SR more economical in every aspect. So really that was your engine to have. On the other page, it is just looking at safety, the safety cells, etc. How it often showed these little graphics on a lot of cars at this time, because safety was becoming a more and more of a buyer's decision when they came to buying the car. Then does show a chart showing how they compare between the 1290cc and the 1472cc. You know, 65 brake horsepower compared to your 74 brake horsepower, your 92 miles per hour compared to your 96 miles per hour. It then looks at your equipment levels between the three models, your GL, your GR and your SR. Black dot simply meaning that was standard equipment. So I'll slowly move this down. I won't go through it all, but if you do want to read that or pause the video anytime, you certainly can do. Your main extras on your top of the range model were those rear centre armrests, your front head restraints, your rev counter and that black side protection strip. You could option metallic paint on any. It does look like you can only option the steel sunroof only on the middle range GR model, which is quite unusual. And then it's telling you, oh, that's why, I guess, because it's telling you on the top of the range model you can get the package which includes that steel sunroof. So there we go, the Peugeot 305, an extremely good car, but when we're thinking about classic cars today, in some regards, because it was quite a plain looking vehicle, it's a vehicle that's really been forgotten about, but still a great car. Don't forget it won that What Car Award in 1979, just to show how good it was. And I personally think it was a lot better vehicle than a Ford Cortina, although I'm sure of you Ford guys out there will probably shoot me from saying that, but that's just my opinion. But certainly let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching Quarterlight today. There'll be many more car brochures to come very shortly, but for now we'll say take care and goodbye.